as I was saying, it troubles me
What
that
you say has value.
I can repeat it.
No.
Man,
Every word you say has value.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is like, just like there's solopreneurs, I'm a solo artist because I'm always following my will as an artist. And the will might take me down roads that I have to learn lessons and might be seen as a mistake or failure. But we know in the entrepreneurial space that the most successful people are the ones that quote unquote fail, but don't really look at it that way. So as I was saying, it troubles me a little bit because I put so much energy at times into trying to collaborate and co-create with other people. And I just had a realization when I just bought a sweatshirt off a guy that I've bought from before, and I have his number, and I bought hats from him and all this sort of stuff. And I just think people are a little afraid of going deep, and I think they're hiding from themselves. But what I was saying is that my insight is that 𝖊𝖑𝖑 or Brevin, which is always Brevin Bell in the care of 𝖊𝖑𝖑real or vice versa, is like creations of the highest order. What does that mean? Well, it's going high, like it's like a jet, or it's like clouds, or it's like the sun, or it's like space, or it's like deep space. It's like deep space. So deep and depth doesn't always have to be dark or the abyss or the ocean or whatever. It's also up. It's up and down. It's the frequency of that, like of doing that. The other realization that came through is like, I'm not really concerned with like the notoriety of me in this lifetime, because I know that through the internet, I will live on forever. And the world is without end. We know that. So like, I'll be back, you know? So, and then the other thing that came through that is like really like salient. You said back in the summer, I was like, I want to create at the highest order. Like I want to create at the highest level, which you can do with millions of dollars because you can buy more stuff to create more things. But you could argue that being creative, what would be a more creative task would be to create with nothing. You know, meaning, fulfillment, purpose, shit like that, right? So I think like there's like things like where like I need to take my will to certain places, you know, that one on the straight and narrow would say don't do or wouldn't do, but because I'm a Pisces, I like to fish, and when you realize that when things are in alignment, and like people don't even know what that means, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like it's a fact, like it's a reality. As it just started to rain, which is like the sky, water coming down from the sky, whereas like again the as above so below, right? So so alignments like for me, like my life is very fluid because like when there's not an alignment, and it's not a bad thing, and we're not judging it, right? When there's not an alignment at a certain precipice or at a certain moment or a certain period, and I need to like swim a certain way or like detour or whatever, like, you know, and then there's like blocks, and blocks happen from like not just like typical blocks, but I mean like universal blocks, like higher self, like your holy guardian angel, as I call it, which is in magic. We talk about Abraxas, right? Like that book I wrote, Abraxas Rises, that brief, like, which was for ConvertKit, you know? So the reason that we're here now is because of what I just said. So I'm not doubting my time away, but my time away wasn't time away. It was like I was still doing Be Real. Like I was still like, you know what I mean? Like, and you know, like I haven't talked to Jaron or Julie and seen Claire since March 8th because I'm in my silo. My the majority of my planets in Pisces are in the 12th house, which is the house of like jail, secrecy, private, you know? So like there's like I just need to like swim alone and like be in like dark corners and like explore uncharted territory, really, you know? Um and the last thing I'll say is like what I realize is like my meaning and my happiness. I don't like the word happiness, but it's relatively appropriate here. Meaning and happiness is when I'm following my will, even if it's like even if it's like if my will like after this, I mean I gotta go back to work, but like even if my will is to like just walk in the fucking ghetto and knock on someone's house on their door, like that's my will, like that's my like that's my in Thelema, they say it's a true will. Like he's like Crowley's like don't like it's like Nietzsche talks in Zarathustra. He's like like come to me and be my disciples, but again, don't listen to me. Follow your own horse, your own compass. You know what I mean? Just like I decided to rip up this champion sweatshirt and put some neon paint on it, and then I just got a Yeezy garment that I was just about to put it Be Real or Bella like in neon, like on the lower half of it, because it's a blank essentially, you know. So like when it comes down to the end of the day, if no coming full circle as Pisces do, um, if no one wants to fuck with me, like and like actually like co-create like at a deep level, like I like that I want to, then and my entire life is just gonna be like making music by myself, making clothes by myself, writing poetry by myself, going on walks by myself. Like, then that's my will. Like, then that's what's gonna have to happen, you know? So, and that's okay because I think people like the funny Brevin when I'm just surface, like in just like at work or like fooling around or whatever. But like the true me of what I really want to do is like go deep in the depths, into the abyss, the subconscious mind, all this sort of stuff, and then go to the heights of outer space, you know, and get really severe and serious about things, you know. Um, and that's why, like, I don't have any, like people watch my stuff on social media, but they don't like it. They don't react to it because it's not social. You know what I mean? Like it's like like when you go out on a sidewalk and you're wearing a costume and you're performing like ceremony your own form of ceremonial magic, like when like that's not acceptable, but like that's my will, so I will do it, you know. um and then the next question would be like what's the evolution, like what's the next step, what's the refinement of that, you know, what's the like I was just listening to some Be Real stuff, like the Be Real school. It's like when I was really focused on health and I was eating very organic and like I think that's the the there's something there. We're gonna break fast. We waited. Alhamdulillah. Oh, you know, at work there was a guy that came through on Flex, and he said to me something in Arabic. I was like, "What do you say?" He's like, "That's like, I forgot. I don't know what he said in Arabic, but he's like, that means like, how are you doing in Arabic?" And then I started saying like, I was like,
Yeah.
"Alhamdulillah, inshallah," and like that a guy like me knew that.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Those are cool moments, you know.
Alhamdulillah. Yes, indeed. How do you make this an extraordinary conversation?
We do have another 32 minutes. Frequencies always move, right? Or I actually said it a different way. Frequencies move always, as the wind is a frequency. And that ham just went wow. Just I altered my. I play with my energy a lot, right? I know how to play with my own energy. How do you think I can dance and move spiritually the way I can with music in front of people, like with no choreography, just all natural, all organic? Because I know frequency, I know energy, I know my energy. I get it on an intuitive psychic level, a somatic level. So I altered my frequency to reach out because I was doing something that I was doing bags where I just have it's in my dungeon, right? And like I was just thinking about all the things that I've been trying to do. And then looking at how the universe or whomever or God or Satan is blocked, like just people just aren't in the same alignment. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And then I shifted my focus to chat to like, what am I really trying to do? It's like, I'm an entrepreneur, sure. I'm an athlete, sure. But I'm really an artist. I'm a god, right? Like, that's my purpose. Like, the other things can work within it. But like, the main thing is like, I create. Like, that's my purpose here. And then that can be taken to like how you understand your own artistry, you know? Like, live the life you love the life you live, right? So it's like, I'm a work, like, I don't like the term, but I proudly am I'm an artaholic. Like, I'm a work, all I do is, bro, like, when I, like, even when I'm at work, I'm literally, like, I was listening to Virgil Abloh's, like, Harvard Design School lecture, like, and so, yeah. But anyway, so what I'm saying is, like, to answer your question, is like, I shifted my frequency intentionally. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going down this path. I was on this path before this, and then before that, we were doing real stuff. And then you shifted paths, and I wasn't in alignment with it. Not because it's anything wrong with me. I just wasn't in alignment with what was happening. Like, even the meetings were when I was working. So it's like, so, but that's another conversation, you know? But again, that everything's divine. Everything is the way it should be, right? Like, right? So, um, and then I'm like, all right, I have meetings coming up tomorrow. So because I shifted my frequency so intentionally and we're tied at a spiritual level, energetically, from all the work we've done in the past and also in the future, I was like, you know what? I'm gaining a little bit of clarity, but I need also subsequently somewhat separated. I need clarity that like re-engaging with this and seeing if it's going to be an extraordinary connection. And then I was able to manifest you getting in the same frequency as I am and not scheduling something in 2 days, but like impromptu immediately. of immediacy, right? So that like I can cancel my appointment tomorrow because it's just like it's a funny thing when you keep your heart and when you keep your eyes open, you know? Like because I know how to focus. That's the thing. Like, do I know how to focus long term? No, I think that's a weakness of mine. Commitment long term. But when it comes to focus, like focusing the will and changing the will to um that's I think like a superpower, you know? Like just focusing on one thing for a sprint, you know? Um but yeah, just maintaining a collaborative frequency that is touching on what matters. Elevation. Elevate, elevate, levitate, create.
What's one daily habit?
Now, now, or like moving forward.
Time is only now.
Right. Oh, well, so it's wild. So just so we're transparent, I was like, I purchased Dan Coe's stuff for a little bit. And I have that. I'll always have that. I get what you meant about that, but I also think that he's a Libra opposite me, and I think that he is a systematized thinker, and I'm not, like that's not my default. So he shows you how to do what he's doing, like step by step by step by step. So that I did that, and then I'm like, you know what? I don't think it's in alignment to like try to gain traction on Twitter and like, I can still use what I bought like to build a course or launch a book. Like, I think he has valuable insight, and he's proven what he's done. And then recently, then I had a period of experimentation and stuff, and then produced an album or put a compilation together. And then the thing that I've been referring to indirectly recently is I was looking to go back to school, like finish undergrad, go get an MFA, like I've looked at before. But so to answer your question about the habit thing, so I've been working on an application, a grad application, and I've and it's for interdisciplinary arts and writing, right? So like I've created a Google Doc that I've contributed to building like my autobiography. And I think if you talk about those two things together, cortex and writing prose, but the habit is I've been walking every morning and writing stream of consciousness poems to the beach. We were doing 75 hard for a little bit, and then we swam a different way. But I think the trenches could come about from this point forward on my own accord, But it's like I said, like it's revelatory that to do this like college thing, like university thing, and then like I don't care what my brother, anyone, my mom, whatever they say about like what we're doing. One, they don't know the shit about what we've done, and two, what we're doing is professional and at the highest spiritual level. Like Elijah is a professional. You know what I mean? Like so. I'm just saying, like the writing that could happen that I could do in the next 20 years. It's like from these experiences, from like Cortex and like you know, like like I mean, like being able to focus on one thing, like this application, and like what I've already written about, like the questions that they've asked me about, like how do you feel as an artist, as a performer, da 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 da, da. And it's just like, bro, like you could give me any book and lock me in a jail cell and give me a typewriter and give me like 3 days and I could write you a 60 to 100-page book. Because like when you look at our astrology, everything is conjunct in Mercury with like Pisces and Aries and all this sort of stuff. So Mercury's conjunct with my sun, my Mars, and my Saturn. Like all those four planets are conjunct, you know? So like that's like I understand you wanted me to talk to 25 people every day. I'm not saying I can't do that. I'm not saying I won't do that. But my sweet spot, I know what my sweet spot is. You know, my sweet spot is the three pronged of what Be Real is: writing, music, and fashion or aesthetics. You know, but like life is a sport. Life is an artistic sport, right? So it's like there's always like I'm not saying like I'm not gonna like I'm not saying I wouldn't do entrepreneurial things. It's just not my sweet spot, you know. So um, and just having the free will to be able to create whatever I want and whatever I'm guided to from an aligned standpoint from the higher realms. You know what I mean? And I don't think that that's possible to happen like in like a university setting. I know that that's not what's going to happen. You know, that's why you got to create your own schools. So like, go ahead, but like the commitment to what Be Real is, because Be Real is mine. You know what I mean? Like if we can agree in this moment that Be Real is Brevin's real lifestyle, right? If it's all mine, then um uh it's been inspired and invoked by Real and by your leadership and our collaboration and co-creations and trench work and all this sort of stuff. But just because I have to go away to the desert or on an island that I choose to by my will, like Be Real is like what's really happened over the last 4 years, like really, like I mean at a deep level, like right at a holistically deep level. This commitment is not like you asked me like how long have you committed to something. It's like okay, maybe there's a direction that you're going in, or you're going in with what you're doing and what you've produced, and I just need to. But like the commitment's lifelong to Be Real, you know, like Brevin being real, I always will be real. You know what I mean? That car was, that's an Omen. That loud, it's like an old Chevy with like the hood with the engine on top. And it said 8888. Infinity. That's what I just said, right? Lifelong is infinity.
So what's your highest intention here?
Define here.
Present moment.
I've already said it, but I will succinctly say it, or succinctly put it, and then see where that leads. To follow and fulfill my true will.
That's maktub. It's the only thing that's going to happen.
Huh?
So that's maktub. It's already written. That's the only thing that's going to happen.
You said maktub?
Maktub, yes. Means it's written. It's already written. Like,
yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's already going to happen. It's the only thing that can happen.
Good statement. I just remember who was saying it. Oh, Virgil was saying it. He was saying, go back to when you were like really young and what you liked about like design or fashion or whatever, like what you were really into. So I thought back to my mom's house in Brighton. I just remember like 10 years old, like I just like to, he's like, to think about what kind of clothes you liked. Like, how did you dress when you went back? And someone told him this, like an architect told him this or something or whatever, or at IKEA or something like that. And I'm just thinking back to when I was like 9 or 10, and it's like sui generis, which is Latin for one of a kind, to be that, right? Because I'm an Aries, and I was in this meeting, this artist meeting with that 22 teachings that I went to that one time. I went to another one, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're an Aries, so your like thing is like I am, like I need to express." So, I think the foundation of the true will for me is I think my happiness lies in, which means my fulfillment, my purpose, lies in creating things sui generis, like all the time, right? Then at the same token, I think the way that can impact or inspire people.
Why does that matter?
Why are you asking that? I said that because I thought that's what you would push back on, but you're pushing back on it in the other opposite way. It doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like, I want to work with people. Like, I want to co-create. Like, I want to have community for sure. I mean, I have that at work, but I mean, when it comes down to the first part of what I'm saying, I truly believe in this present moment that that's why I'm here, to rebel to creatively rebel, to creatively make things my own and make original work. And then,
well, it's a contradictory statement, but I would say this. In architecture, we say form creates function. Right?
I like that. Yeah.
Another way how I say that is, right, the soil creates the environment, right? You cultivate the right soil, you have the right things, right? Everything will grow in alignment, right?
Yeah.
So why intention is really important, why processing intention is really important, why really clarifying intention is important and purification is important is because you're going to get what prepared yourself for, right? You're always going to get what you prepared yourself for. And that is the highest intention, right? Whatever your intention was, you're going to get it. Whether you thought about it or not, you're going to get, right, what you're thinking about or what your frequency is calling it. So within that awareness, you're saying two things that juxtapose each other in an interesting way.
What?
Right?
No, what? I might retrace it. What is it?
Well, it's the awareness of we started this conversation with, right, the awareness of people not working with you or that not being cohesive in a divine way. But then they also had the statement of rebellion, right? So you're creating two extremes, right? You're pulling at it from two sides of there has to be, not has to be, but the awareness is for something to work for someone, you have to understand their problem, right? You can sell somebody something that doesn't work, peace be upon it, and they can buy it, but it doesn't solve the problem, right? But in a cohesive environment, the goal is symbiosis, right? Two things complementing each other in a way that benefits both. Oftentimes at no cost to the other, right? No additional cost to the other, right? But to get to that point is where most people are afraid of, is they don't want the uncomfortable conversation that allows us to get to that reality. That's why most people live lives they don't actually enjoy, right? Because the 10 steps to alignment, the deeper conversations of like what truly matters, people don't want to do because it is the abyss for them. It's like, if I have to change this thought, that means everything else that I did is a lie, and I don't want to lie to myself. But I would rather lie to myself than tell myself the actual truth that I don't know what the hell is going on. We all don't know what the hell is going on. I don't want to admit that. I want to assume that I have some control of what's going on. I'd rather lie to myself than surrender the fact that I actually have no control of what's going on because I don't know what's going to happen next. Much as I planned, we're all on plan B. None of us are on plan A. None of us. We can all say that, but you're on plan B. 90% of what we're doing is a response to something that happened when we set an intention. So in Brevon's present reality, because tomorrow's not promised, how do we, what's the highest alignment? What's the request? What is next? What is now? What's happening? Because real intention means every time we speak, it's the last time we speak. That's real,
Would you say that term was mukta?
Maktu.
Maktu? That's what I would say. Like, if this is my last day right now, I lived a good life. It's good, right? Because, like, what's funny is that I was thinking about my time in Cleveland.
Alhamdulillah.
And like everything that because I finally talked to that girl again that I wrote that book about in the album and stuff like that. That's into that runs her own fashion company and stuff like that. We talked last night for like an hour and a half, like late, like when I got home from work. And it brought back a lot of things about like my whole journey, like back because we met in like October or September actually, and like when like the weather was nice and they were like, and now that time's happening again because it's like 6 months, right? So like, and I got offered to re-up my lease or do a month-to-month or whatever, and I made a decision on that and turned that in today. So like, I like things happening now and quick, but when I realistically look in retrospect back at my time in Cleveland and like what I've done from an artistic standpoint since I've been in Cleveland in my studio in Lakewood has been ridiculous compared to what I did the year before that. So a year to 2 years ago in Webster. But even then, like that was like for me to go from like no one knowing who I was in 2020 to like impacting a whole town like that and having like a frenzy, and like just based on like the work that I do and my calling to like perform in public like that, and like the development of my knowing my body and like losing weight and like all this sort of stuff. Like I'm just saying, like if I go back and look at my body of work, my artwork, like as like a curated and like made a curated collection of that, like you know what I mean? Like you know what I'm doing? I'm solving my legacies problem. You know, like I'm like when I'm creating, I always keep like consciously or subconsciously like Claire in mind. I'm like, when I'm like 60 and like I think she'll love the times that I'm feeding her and playing with her and holding her and giving her a bath and all this sort of stuff. But I think she's really gonna look up to me because I'm her uncle, different than her parents, and like I'm just like I just feel like she's gonna be like, you know what, Zio was a really really interesting, talented guy that had and like inspired me to do whatever I'm doing, you know, because so I don't know, I feel like because I choose to be alone so much that um I feel such a deep connection with whoever is with me, you know, like I study like for a period of time for at least like a week and a half before alignments didn't happen and I'm moving on. But it's still always part of me. And you know this. It's like I was studying magic and going to events and stuff like that. Like deep like occult esoteric spirituality. It's like in the same thing as Steiner, but just in like different schools, right? So it's like I feel like when it's all said and done, I know I've pleased them. You know what I mean? And I know that they're working through me as I'm creating whatever I'm creating. And that's what matters. You know? Like when I go perform, I'm channeling something or someone or all the time, every fucking time. If you actually like watch when like, if you actually were, if not you, but just if anyone was there watching, it's like I'm on the sidewalk. You're in your car, your doors are locked, your windows are up, you have music on, and how am I impacting your experience? How's that even possible? Right? So, um, I just need to master my transitions because Abraxas, which has a two legs as serpents, is about beginnings and ends. I'm born on the cusp of Pisces and Aries. I like to get really into things to like the bipolarity of things, right? So it's like I just really need to master that like as an art form of when I go all in on something and focus and then disregard everything else and then slowly align to something some other thing that's still in the same realm of my interest and past work, you know? Like going from like making an album in a couple days and putting it out there and engrossing myself in that and then completely going away from recording music for like a month and then writing a book right after that, you know? And I think what the thing is I need to come to peace with what you said about Ye. You're like, Ye is capable of what can be possible, but he's getting praise for it. Right now, I'm not getting like I don't get applause because great art divides, you know, which hate is there or dislike or
There's a
disapproval.
uniqueness to art in what we look at art today. Very big uniqueness. And that's why the intention has to be remember, the definition of art that we have today is not art.
Correct.
Right? It's praise. It's not art.
Correct.
Right? We don't
Correct.
acknowledge the person who designed the iPhone or the MacBook, but we use them. Back to the sidewalk, right? You don't know the person. You probably walked on the sidewalk more times than you can count, but you don't know who designed it.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
The grand architect of the words that we read and use, like who created the English language? We don't know, but we're influenced by its impact.
Right. But do the gods know?
Of course.
Okay, so that's what matters. That's my intention. That's the crystallization, the synthesis of everything that's been said here in the last 42 minutes is my job, my true will is to create at the highest level fine art music with or without Jet or whatever the fuck is going on, with or without Jared or Julie or my dad or my mom or whatever. Like my true will is to create at the highest level fine art music for the gods, with the gods. That's it. That's the intention. And like when I do that and execute on that and keep that in mind, my life is lovely. And I can do that every day. Like there's nothing holding me back from doing that. You know? Like,
you know.
30 seconds and I got to get back to work. And that's the thing that I realized is that coming back full circle again for the second time is that no one fucks with me like artistically. Like no one really wants to collaborate. But the thing that we did that I miss about, I'm not saying miss as in like we need to go back to do that. I mean, it can happen, it will happen. But like when we were in the trenches, we were co-creating, you know? And like that solidarity and brotherhood with that was like
gotta come to the dojo. You gotta come to the dojo. I'm always in. I'm always in. I'm always there because you gotta, you know.
Okay. All right. Well, you can determine, or just be in touch. Be in touch. Whatever
There's no touch. I'm only here.
Okay.
Right now, I'm, you know, on a different one landmass, but I'm not in. I'm on the other side of the fence.
Okay.
Yeah, everything is symbiotic and always mutually beneficial. So we invest in what we get because we're planting seeds, right? We get thanks to Earth because one day we go back to it, right? So that's the only, right? I live by the laws of nature, you know? So.
Sounds good.
Wholeness and balanced vibration. Love is law.
That is.
Nah. Speak
All right,
soon.
bro.
Inshallah.
Yes, sir. Inshallah.